You should be able to record. Excellent.
Okay, great.
So
So Dr. Johnson, why do you think that this message resonates, right, with people's audiences?
So you're going to do a terrific job. Naturally charismatic. You have a real message. This is much deeper for you than just getting a book out there, right? That's not really the goal. And by the way, that's not the goal of the summit, just to get a book out there. It's to take a message that you believe in and to really get that message, spread that message. And I can already see that this is something that you believe in personally, and that's going to make the biggest difference. So, with that being said, let me explain to you how the summit works. Since you haven't done the training, I'm going to give you the Cliff Notes version
Okay, and
of how the
I
summit.
participated in the summit live in 2018.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so you already have a feel for how everything goes. You haven't done it virtually. So, do you have any questions about the virtual piece of it?
Not really. I host Zoom meetings all the time.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. So I know how to go. And Steve's really good at laying out things. As long as I have the agenda and blah 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 in front of me,
Yep.
I can follow that. It's sometimes finding it, but I have access to it. And I know now that I got information on when the times of it are, and starting on the 12th with all day prep, and then 3 times a week. And I got those added to my calendar and things like this. And I have my speaker one sheets already.
Perfect.
I
Wow.
can
Okay.
actually show you. And I understand what I should do is lead off with my credentials, my background, and then go into what the problems are. And I'll just make that a little bit shorter and a little bit more concise.
So keep in mind, and this is one of the things that I always try, and you've done this before, so you have a better feel for it than most people will. The goal of this is to present you to the media as a really interesting person, right? Because if they look and they see you as an incredibly interesting person that has a message, that has something to talk about, you won't just get on for this book, you'll become a regular guest, and you'll be in front of them all the time. And that's the real key to this. Because if you just get on trying to pitch a book, if you just have one idea, it's not going to work. So go ahead.
I've got 4 books that we're coming out with, 4 different books in different subject areas that I've written during the pandemic and a little bit before. And so we're having a launch on basically the 11th of every month,
Nice.
into 2023.
Nice. I love that, because I mean we'll have you set up so that you're a regular guests on these shows and they want you to come in and talk about these things. How many nonprofits do you have? Or have you founded?
I have 3.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so based on what I heard, the best approach to your pitch, based on your background, seems to be, here's who I was before, this is what I was doing before, and then I realized, and this is what I'm doing now. So I have all this stuff that I did. That's kind of setting you up for, and really it's going to set you up for a lot of these business and success, general media, a lot of different things along those lines, because you've done that. And basically, based on what you told me, you realized what was most important. And then you went down that other trail. And since doing that, you have seen great success. That's going to be a really good formula for you to use, because that's going to be something that's going to connect with a lot of people, either people who have not yet figured out what's really important and need to, or people who have figured out what's really important and want some encouragement to go down that road. So I really think you've got a good storyline to use here. What you want to make sure of is that you have story ideas for each of the categories of people that you're going to meet with. So, Steve, all of the material, it all says to create a custom pitch for each of the media. You don't need to do that. because all of the media falls into basically five categories. You're going to have your general national media, Today Show, people like that that just want a good story for a quick segment. You're going to have your business and success. You're going to have your health and wellness. You're going to have your religion and spirituality. And then you're going to have your family, your children's shows, family shows, things along those lines. So those are going to be the ones that you're going to want story ideas for. I'd like to talk with your audience about X, or I'd like to talk to your audience about this. You're going to throw it out there and then get some feedback from them if that's what they're interested in.
And I've got story ideas on all five of these.
Excellent. Excellent.
I've got programs on all five of these, actually.
Perfect.
So let me, if you want, I can show you, call up the, let me see if I can find the pages in the one book, and then I'll share.
Sure. That would be awesome.
And let me go into here. And the one book is, I'll get into that in a sec. I think I might have went past it. Yeah. Well, here, if you can allow me to share screen real quick.
Yep, you should be able to share it.
Okay, so let me go through real quick. I'll do it from the beginning, but I'll skip over a tremendous amount. It's not. Okay, so the the one book, it's your guide to the collaborative programs and initiatives needed to help solve social, environmental, and economic issues on a local to global scale at your company, faith-based or nonprofit organization, government agency, school, network, or home. Okay. Then I'm going to skip a bunch of pages, but it says, right, use of this book and the say contents are restricted to the following 5 groups of individuals and the following 5 types of institutions. Do not proceed unless you possess the following characteristics and behaviors.
I like that.
Enter at your own risk only if you're willing to join the quest to be the hero. And then it goes into, you know, all the different, okay, so we're skipping.
I like that.
Skipping. And this is the, you know, the founder's why. So it goes into the why very early. I didn't start out wanting to change the world. I just wanted to repay a debt. Okay.
Yeah.
I was born 3 months premature and weighed 2 pounds and 3 ounces. And I spent the first 4.5 months of my life in an incubator. Okay. So let's see. And okay. So one of the things that we do is we ask always, what's your cause? What's your mission? And programs are based on collaboration between people, institutions, countries, and are built on the principles of civility, equality, education, action, inclusion, sustainability. In other words, quality of life for all. So, you know, this decade is the tipping point for billions of people, and the time for division is over. The fractional approach to solving global issues doesn't work. We've got to collaborate to succeed. We've got to collaborate to survive. And what I did was I created something called the Collaboration Think Tank System, which brings in the institutions and influencers, breaks them into teams based on the 17 STGs. We go through what are the objectives that we have to solve, what are the problems associated. The solutions come from 4 sources. They come from business, they come from scientific, they come from government, and academic. And they've got to be actionable by either individuals from the grassroots up to institutions from the top down. But not only that, you've got to have the delivery systems to get the information out there to educate and inspire people to take action. So we've got books, courses, workshops, programs, events, activities for all different levels in order to do this. Because it has to be a systematic global approach. Okay. And then when we address a certain area, it's called a collaboration impact area. Like, how do we go ahead and reduce the number of people in prison? How do we prevent people from returning to prison? And it's by putting our programs into schools for civility and kindness as early as 4 years old. So they never even think of going ahead and, you know, picking up a gun, right, to solve a problem. Okay. So, and the benefits are, besides, saving for every 100,000 people we prevent going into prison, we save the taxpayer $55.5 billion. Okay. There's a reduction in gun violence, racism, religious gender intolerance, substance abuse, suicide, so all these things. And this is what we're going to be working on. So we have the collaboration volunteers, we got ambassadors, right? If you don't think you're going to be affected by it, our research shows differently, right? And then we have, no matter who you are, you're more connected, more powerful than you may think. Share the one book or specific programs with your community. You don't have to explain. We do that. When they collaborate, you're the hero. So no matter where you're interested in, right, we give you the systems to go ahead and do it. And there's a lot more stuff. We got a Karma Constitution, the Karma Club, which is our planned acts of kindness, education for quality life, putting that into schools for kids as young as 4 years old, One Planet, One People clubs. The Working Dead is another book on financial literacy and financial planning, because what we learn in school, even if our majors were finance, economics, and business, is only the Wall Street model of how money works. And Wall Street doesn't work for 95% of the population. Wall Street works for Wall Street. So isn't it strange that, you can go to school for 16, 20 years and you never really learn how money works? It's because the other institutions make money from us not knowing, and companies and organizations need more workers. So they want people to be living paycheck to paycheck. Yet we can go ahead and utilize the same systems through the tax code that the rich do in order to go ahead and have that quality of life. And that's what I educate in the book. Okay. And through workshops, money mastery, and custom benefit plans. We got health programs. We've got teamed up with award-winning architecture program to do work-life balance programs, sustainability programs. We're One Green World EduMart for products for all different types of organizations. Our 16 Things We All Can Do book series, which goes into specific areas. At the UN on February 24th in 2020 about doing a book on youth mental health. They loved it, agreed to do it. And then 2 weeks later, the UN was shut down. I was supposed to speak at the Wesleyan Church Excel Conference in March of 2020, because they had wanted me to do a book on family issues, everything from income inequality to domestic violence to substance abuse to education, things like this. And unfortunately, it didn't happen because of COVID-19. Legacy Lifelines Memorial Book is a book that I wrote, which allows people to go ahead and create a keepsake to keep the joy and the memories of a lost loved one alive for themselves, their families, and future generations. And we're going to be looking for sponsorship to brand the book and then give it out to their particular audiences for free, because we want to go ahead and give it to every family in the world that lost a loved one due to COVID-19.
Wow.
So those are 4 of the different books. Okay. And then we have global programs, everything from Smile and Wave. We want to get people to go ahead and do that at the end of meetings, right? Because it's a great way for us to go ahead and take care of ourselves by being, treating ourselves well, but then also passing that to other people, showing gratitude and appreciation. And then hopefully they'll turn around and share that with other people during their day. And through these little ripples, we can create waves that we can join together to be a tsunami for change. And it all starts with you and a smile.
Wow.
So, tremendous programs, the Great Pizza Peace Plan, right? Which is people get together, they take the kindness, civility pledge while eating pizza, they share it on social media. And once a month, we have a worldwide pizza party that goes from Friday night all the way to Sunday night, where people are sharing stories of kindness, right? Sharing stories about how they volunteer with our organization. And it's all done over a pizza, which brings people together all over the world.
Wow.
So we got all these different programs, but these are my my speaker one sheets. So special event, make it unforgettable, PAC founder and speaker, workshop leader, kindness kindness to climate change, energy, inspiration, and action, how kindness and civility can turn back the tipping points and save the human race from self-destruction, speaker stories, and then HR to CSR, talks, workshops, and events, how to act and grow rich with money matters mastery, from game-changing financial concepts to custom benefits. The measure of a person's wealth is not how much you make, it's how much you get to keep.
That's good. I love this. This is great. I mean, I've never worked with anybody that's so ready for this. This is awesome.
Well, thank you.
The best line that I heard you say, and this is how I would start off my pitch, I think, if I were in your situation, I'd say, "Hi, my name is Lyle Benjamin, and I didn't start out wanting to change the world. I started out by wanting to repay a debt." That would be my opening line, because that line is, when you said it and I was sitting there reading it, I thought, there it is right there. I can't imagine anything that's going to grab somebody's attention more than that line right there.
Okay.
And then you could go straight to, here's my past. I was in business. I was doing this. I was doing this. And then I realized, so that line sums up the transition for you, and it grabs the attention that you want, because you're basically saying, without saying it, I'm trying to change the world here. That's what I'm trying to do. Like how the humble brag, I didn't, it's a little bit of, hey, you need to give me publicity because I'm trying to do something so big. And I love that angle to this, of almost, it would be wrong to not talk about what can happen here if we all work together. Your story ideas are going to work well. There's a couple, for example, like relationships and family. When you have some of those shows come up, you're going to have to kind of figure out what a good storyline would be for some of those types of shows.
I I would go with adding kindness and civility into the school system for kids as early as 4 years old, because it acts as, protection for them against things that are going to happen by giving them actually a support network. Okay. Because the two most important things that are going to contribute to their health, happiness, and wellness over the years are quality relationships and a stronger sense of community. And that's what having planned acts of kindness, right, in their lives on a daily basis will do.
Love it. Love it. I'm just trying to look for areas where there might be. I mean, your business and success, all the other ones. I mean, I already see it just based on what you said. I already know where you can go. You've already got something for that. And you talk about this on a regular basis, so you'll be able to roll with the punches as they come. That's the big thing. When you get somebody that's sitting in front of you and they're kind of not buying it, you got to switch gears and give them something different. But
Yeah.
you already know how to do that because you talk about this on such a regular basis. This one sheet is zoom. Can you zoom in on the one sheet just a little bit for me? I just want to see a couple of those story ideas. Four key.
See if I can.
Okay, yeah, I'm seeing it on the right side. That right side one sheet is better than for the purposes here, because you have things like four keys and four things. Those always show up well when you're talking with media, just because the natural question, and really in general, as you're working on as you're refining the story ideas you want to use, whenever you use a two ways or three things or four ideas, the first question that's going to come out of their mouth is, well, what's one of the ideas? That's what you want, because they just gave you permission to keep talking. So those on the right side work really well. A lot of those work really well. Yeah, I like it. I might, if I were going to use this one sheet here, I
Mm.
might cut down your profile just a little bit, because it's long for media. Media doesn't, they don't read. They really don't. So they're going to look at the headlines, they're going to look at the story ideas, and then maybe go a paragraph or two. But you know what? If you went with it just like it is, it's fine. I mean, I'm just honestly, I'm looking for things to nitpick on
Right.
because it's already really good. If you delivered it just like that, you'd be fine.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, the last paragraph, which is long, is just my background and books I've done and some of my background. So, um, yeah, hopefully that's okay. Um,
Did you Now, I'm wondering, money mastery. I've heard of that. Is
uh,
that I think I
this is
think I
called
have.
Money Matters Mastery. It's a course that I created that has 6 sections to it. That helps educate people about what they need to know about how money works, and then also gives them the opportunity to develop programs for everything from having financial safety of their money, having protection of their assets, having health care coverage for the number one cause of bankruptcy in this country, which is long-term care, chronic care coverage. Uh,
Mhm.
and then how, when they need the money the most, when they're in retirement, how they can go ahead and pull it out tax-free and penalty-free. Whereas with your 401k or 403b or 457 government plan, right, it's taxed.
Gonna get penalized, yeah.
Yeah. And so the thing is that these are essential foundations that people need, that they're not being given as opportunities, yet the rich go ahead and use them all day long.
Sure. Sure. Anything like that that you may think may be well known that somebody may have heard of, throw that in there because when you mention something like that, the first thing that goes off my mind is I think I've heard of that, which of course just gives you more credibility. Oh, I'm speaking with the guy that created the program, that type of thing.
Okay.
This looks really solid. I would just work on getting that pitch down to about 40 seconds
Right.
and do your best. And I know some people don't work well this way. I always encourage people to write it out.
Oh, yeah.
But if you flow better without writing it out, I understand that too. Writing it out is normally better, though.
Yeah. I'm a writer, by the way.
Oh, well,
Right. So,
then yeah, that'll be easy for you. If
yeah.
you want, and I know we're running short on time, we said 30 minutes. If you want to write it out and shoot it over to me by email, I'd love to take a look at it, add any thoughts that I have in on it, shoot it back. When we get together again, we can go through it, we can practice it, we can brush up on it, we can make sure that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. And then on the one sheet as well, make sure your story ideas are good and then we should be ready to go from there. I'm excited about what you're doing, first of all. Second of all, I'm excited about you presenting this and seeing how well it goes. But I think the media is going to be all over this. This is exciting. It's life changing, really. It's world changing. But even more importantly, it's life changing for people that can get a hold of it. So I love it. I'm excited. You've got great stuff here.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Johnson. And may I ask, what's your doctorate in?
Education, education.
Aha. So I'll be speaking to you before and after. Okay. Um, because so many of our programs are educationally based. And we have, as you'll see when you get through the one book, we have a lot of programs that are designed to go into schools. I have an internship mentorship program that's used by everyone from Columbia University, NYU, University of Pennsylvania. We've been accepted by Harvard, MIT, because we teach not only life skills in particular disciplines, but we add in what I call the 8 foundation skills that aren't currently being taught throughout the educational system. And these are everything from communication to business, marketing, management, office technology, research, problem solving, and time management. And you need to use these skills collaboratively if you want to be successful in management and leadership roles. So this is what really needs to be taught to everyone. But instead, the school system, again, is using a fractional approach to education, and there's no real world connection with what they do. So I ask my undergraduates, graduates, even postgraduates, right, who come into my program, think about all the classes you've had over the years before you got into college, while you're in college, and all the assignments you've done, all the papers you've done, all the tests you've taken. Did any of them have any impact on other people's lives?
Wow.
The answer is always no.
No, of course not.
And I'm
Of course
like,
not.
that's a problem. So
Yeah.
one of my goals over the next 2 to 5 years is to get our programs put into the schools so that when they're teaching psychology, when they're teaching writing, when they're teaching whatever it is, they'll actually have a real world program that they're working on that impacts other people's quality of life. So what you're doing is you're learning in a real world environment, and you're contributing to the welfare of people and the planet. And
Terrific.
that's what needs to happen if we're going to turn things around, right? Because for thousands and thousands of years, people learned by doing through apprenticeship, and we've gotten completely away from that. And our programs can act as the bridge, right, between education and the real world. Okay, but there's also that benefit to other people as well. So that's something
Wow.
that we can possibly talk about. And
Absolutely. That
maybe
sounds good.
right.
Love to do that. It's great getting the opportunity to talk with you tonight. If you have anything, any questions, you need anything, let me know. Otherwise, shoot me over that pitch when you get it with some story ideas. I'll look through it, and then we'll look forward to working together next week and pushing it down the road.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
All
Johnson.
right. Thank
have a
you.
great
Talk to
week.
you
I
soon.
appreciate it.
You too. Bye bye.